What's the pressure on then in terms of Enzo Maresca? Does he have to deliver the Premier League? What's the view from inside Chelsea?
Look, there is zero expectation of Chelsea winning the title this season. I think Chelsea expect Arsenal or Manchester City to win the title. Realistically, they think that their target is to finish top four. Now, the Champions League is a little bit different because in February it becomes a knockout competition, and anything is possible in a knockout competition, even one as good as the Champions League. And Chelsea are one of the top 10 sides in Europe, so perhaps they've got a little bit more of a chance of winning the European Cup. But Enzo Maresca is not going to be judged on trophies this season. He already won 2 trophies last season. I know for a fact people inside Chelsea think Maresca is doing a masterful job at rotating his squad. I don't think any manager has made more changes than Maresca this season. 102 changes he's made to manage the workload on his players. So I think Chelsea's owners want more of the same. This is a 5 to 10 year project. Their aim is to make Chelsea one of the biggest clubs in the world within that time frame. And of course, they want to be challenging for the big prizes, but the title this season, zero expectation of that.
They are second in the Premier League, and I'm going to pick you up on what you just said about Manchester City. You said when Pep Guardiola was staring us in the face, if Arsenal win, they come second. Why are you not saying that they come second, your former club, and why are you not saying that they are genuine title contenders?
Because they are still learning, they are still maturing, they are still understanding. They have not been as I would hope, don't get me wrong here, I would hope, but they have not been as consistent as they could be, and they are learning to be that. The moment they are doing that, they will compete for the league.
A superb Champions League victory for Chelsea. They blew away Barcelona 3-0 on a memorable night at Stamford Bridge. It was billed as the battle of the 2 teenage wonder kids, and for once it was Lamine Yamal who was outshone, with Chelsea's Brazilian teenager Estêvão grabbing the headlines. A Jules Koundé own goal put Chelsea ahead. Ronald Araujo was sent off. The hosts took control after the break. Estêvão scored a superb solo effort before Liam Delap added a third.
Majorly impressed. We said there about a start of a big week, and it's just played into Chelsea's hands tonight. It finished off with Ole football, cheers from the crowd, even just giving players like Neto, Reece James, Estêvão, time to recover before the big weekend. And they've been to a man from start to finish. Honestly, Jules, they was absolutely sensational. And loving the fans there, especially at the bridge. And he's just one of them players, as soon as he gets the ball, you just feel like something's going to happen. He's just a bright spark. He's got that goal that can unlock defences. He's getting to grips with the Premier League and the physicality and the working hard as well. So the moment, the way the Project Estêvão is in full flow.
And goodness me, I mean, he completely shone brightest last night, didn't he? And in the battle of the Wonder Kids, James, just how impressive was he?
He was brilliant. It was a battle between these 2 18-year-olds, the best 2 18-year-olds in world football for the first time. Hopefully we'll be seeing plenty more meetings between Chelsea and Barcelona and these 2 talented teenagers. But it was the Brazilian nickname Messinho back in Brazil because of his performances for Palmeiras. It's Messinho, Little Messi, and last night he sold the show, didn't he? Because he was absolutely brilliant, and he's been a real revelation for Chelsea since joining. He turned 18 in the summer. He actually played for Palmeiras in the Club World Cup before joining Chelsea this summer. 5 goals already for him, and he made a bit more history yesterday evening as well, a special evening at Stamford Bridge. But he joins an elite club now. He becomes the 3rd teenager to score in his first 3 starts in the Champions League. And he joins quite an elite club because when you look at the other 2 teenagers to have done that, Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. So the future certainly looks bright for Chelsea and for Estêvão, the wonder kid.
Yeah, absolutely does. And look, after the game, Maresca said he expects Estêvão and Yamal to be stars of world football, just like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Look, these are huge shoes to fill. He was already in great company with those other big names as a young player. But look, is the comparison of this justified?
Well, I think the comparison of Estêvão and Yamal is probably not justified at this stage because of what Yamal has done in his career so far. Stole the show at the age of 16, winning the Euros last summer at the age of 17, and he's far more established when it comes to playing club football and playing European football. Estêvão just played 11 games for Chelsea now, but Maresca looked to build up the rivalry, it seemed, last night when he spoke to beIN Sports, and he says probably in the next 10-15 years, Estêvão and Lamine Yamal are probably going to be the next Messi and Ronaldo. No pressure there whatsoever. But then, interestingly enough, a few minutes later, he spoke in the press conference and seemed to play down any talks of that rivalry.
Well, look, goodness me, it is a huge week for Chelsea, isn't it? Because, look, they've got Arsenal, although at Stamford Bridge, they welcome them on Super Sunday. What a Super Sunday that's going to be. And they've had this huge boost here. Do you think they're title contenders? How much of a statement would it be for this win and then to go and beat Arsenal or get something from that game?
Well, I think what last night's win did, it stamped down their credentials as a team that could win something this season. I spoke to Enzo Maresca last season, and the plan always was for this season for them to finish in the top four. But because they did so well last season, obviously the ambitions have changed somewhat, and perhaps Chelsea can compete for honours this season. There's been key injury blows, the likes of Cole Palmer, Levi Colwill out for the remainder of the season. But Chelsea are in a position now they can go to Stamford Bridge with real confidence, taking on Arsenal, who were brilliant against Tottenham. One thing we know is that Chelsea are now fifth in their Champions League groups. They're looking well placed right now to qualify for the knockout stages. And now it's 3 wins on the bounce, 3 wins on the bounce without conceding. Yesterday, that shutout against Barcelona, the first time in 53 matches that Barcelona have not scored. So that says something about that Chelsea backline, despite some of the injuries they have. They will stay second in the Premier League, even if they beat Arsenal at the weekend. But Enzo Maresca believes they've got a real chance of doing something special, and they could potentially beat Arsenal this weekend.
Now, teenage sensation Estêvão outshone Lamine Yamal as Chelsea beat Barcelona 3-0 in the Champions League last night. Let's get more on this and speak live to South American football expert Tim Vickery. Tim, thank you so much for your time. It was billed as Estêvão versus Yamal, but it was the Chelsea forward who stole the show. Has there been much talk in Brazil about his goal last night?
There most certainly has. Oh, you lucky people. You get to watch this every week. And we had it for a little more than a year. And you could see right from the start, right from his first game, that you're dealing with a very, very special talent. This is a talent which, especially since Carlo Ancelotti took over as Brazil coach, is of crucial importance to the national team. Estevão's first start for Brazil, he played a few times as a sub, but his first start was Ancelotti's first game as Brazil coach. And he's banged in 5 goals in the last few games, 5 goals between September and November. So he's a crucial part of Brazil's quest to win the World Cup next year. I reiterate the point. Don't take this for granted. You lucky people, you get to watch this every week. And I think we've got probably now the first genuine Brazilian superstar to have chosen the Premier League. Usually they want Real Madrid or Barcelona. Estêvão has come to Chelsea. Please don't take this for granted. Well, he was known right at the start of his career as a youth player. He was known as Messinho, Little Messi. When he got his break in the first team at Palmeiras, he scored a goal on debut. It's getting in at the far post, and you're thinking, you look at him and you think he's got no right to score that goal. And the opposition was a little team from Uruguay called Liverpool. And you're thinking back then, it's not going to be long before he's doing it against a rather more famous Liverpool. And guess who his first goal in the Premier League was scored against? You got it. Liverpool. I well remember his coach at Palmeiras, Abel Ferreira, saying, now remember, Abel's Portuguese, had a good playing career. He's coached in Portugal, in Greece. He's coach of Endrick, who was at Real Madrid. And I remember Abel in a post-match press conference, pleading in vain, of course, with Palmeiras not to sell him, but saying, this lad, he is different from anything I've ever seen. So, yes, I think comparisons with the top draw are, all right, they put a burden of pressure on him, but he does seem to respond extremely well to pressure.
How much do you think he'd be worth if a club was trying to sign him now?
Considerably more than Chelsea paid for him, because he's already proved his worth, hasn't he? So he's already put himself, I think, in that space where almost no one can afford him. And obviously Chelsea have got him up on a long-term contract. and you can watch this every week. Please don't take this for granted. You have got one of the most exciting talents in the global game. I think the first genuine Brazilian superstar to play in Brazil when they're before and going to reach their peak. I'm not sure if all the money in the world could buy him at the moment.
Estêvão, you talked about him. Thierry, how much do you enjoy watching the young men play?
I did already at the Club World Cup. There is something about him. I love a player that has a go at his fullback. That's about it. When he gets the ball, there is no nonsense. He goes, he turns, he goes. He will see what's in front of him. There is no that's what I'm saying. At one point, we were talking about it on the show that we were together, Jamie, the other day. I was like, a guy like that, you have to let him paint. When I say about that, is cooking. Like, you don't go to the house of a painter and tell him to do what he needs to do. Let him paint, and then he will. You said you love the frame or you don't love the frame of what he did, or the drawing or whatever he did. Let him cook. This is what he's doing. Allow him to dribble.
Is he painting pictures?
Everything. He's painting everything. The way is like, you wouldn't like to play against him. Not because I'm not saying that you won't be able to stop him, but he's coming at you all the time. He's reminding me of that's early doors. That's why I think Ryan Giggs was one of the best, because he's coming at you the whole game. Whether he's having a good game or not a good game, he's trying to test you all the time and see if you're going to stop him or not. And that's how it is as a winger.
Will the frustration be for you then? Because I think what the point you've been trying to make, I think probably for the last year, is there's not enough players who excite you and get you off your seat. Is the worry that because he's young and he's maybe playing a bit free, that the longer he's with, I'm not saying Maresca, but coaches, that ends up getting coached out of him a little bit? Do you think that's the problem? That it's actually coaches taking this away from players, the longer they're sort of with them and in the team?
I do think so, because coaches at times are scared of transition, counter-attack, playing against a low block. If you lose the ball too early, you're going to get done being open. But the first quality of the kid is to dribble. Why are you going to take that away? For me to be able to make you tired or take advantage of what I've done, it's like if you stop a boxer to jab. Like, how is it going to work? Like, if I don't go at you 5 to 6 to 7 times, you stop me, how am I going to have the 8th time? You go to the 8th time, you're like, oh, I can see he's tired now. 9th time, he doesn't want me anymore. 10, 11, it's easy. Then I score at the end because you're tired. If I don't make you run, I pass the ball all the time. It's an easy job for you as a right back or a left back. Let him cook. Let him play. We need to enjoy this type of players and type of games. I mentioned Michael Olise, Bukayo Saka. It's not always, doesn't have to be scripted all the time. Pass the ball. Don't lose it.
Whatever way Enzo Maresca went tonight, and you've got to credit him for getting it right, but I think whatever way he went with his front line, I think would have been successful against this Barcelona back four.
Estêvão's special, isn't he?
Oh. He is. He's got everything you want from a wide player. There's a lot of good wide players playing throughout Europe at the moment, and he's one of those players that can go past people down the outside. He showed he's got a right foot as well, because he's a left-footed player when he runs with it. Scores with his right foot. He's got that bit of pace, and he looks an intelligent footballer as well. Quite a lot of players that dribble with the ball, do it at the wrong times, they run into defenders. It looks as though he's got a bit of that football intelligence as well. Good player.
They've signed enough wide players, haven't they?
Yeah, so they've got to get it right at some point.
Modric is off and he's got his issues, and Pedro Neto's done a good job for them as a wide player. Gittins has come in. Obviously, they lost Madueke to Arsenal.
Garnacho's the one that I'm still not convinced about.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's hot and cold, isn't he? But this young guy, I think already from a very early stage of him putting on this strip, particularly at Stamford Bridge, you can just tell whenever he gets the ball, people are off their seats, aren't they? There's an edge, there's an excitement.